is Paul. I just wanted to all the government employees that ever thought helping out a foreign nation was so good. Yes. Now, in Hamilton versus Alabama, the court recognized the arraignment is a critical stage in a criminal proceeding. I thought the same thing each time I was arraigned. Yes, that it was a critical stage in the court proceeding. Pooch. You remember Judge Porter when I was arraigned for the arrest that took place on January 4th of 2016? The arraignment is a critical stage in the criminal proceeding. Yes. See, they arrested me for the allegation of being in Sequim, Washington, and violating the protection order where the petitioner didn't sign it. Yes. Where I wasn't given any personal or service. Yes. There's no signature of the petitioner. Right. And then we found out a little later there's a forgery of an employee of the government. Yes. And you, as a judge, said, well, I don't know if I have jurisdiction to remove it. But I said, Judge, look at notice of this hearing was not served on the respondent by personal service, right, or service by publication. I didn't say service by mail because I'm homeless and I don't have a location that you can serve me by mail. Now, I do go on the Peninsula Daily News quite often. Seems like there's some football players that happen to be my sons. And then the respondent did not receive actual notice of the hearing. Oh, respondent was not present. The order was not issued in accordance with the full faith and credit provisions of the VAWA. Yes, yes, yes. The PKPA. The what's it called? The fraud protection? No, the fraud. You know, I was talking to you about fraud when you were getting elected to office, and we have these international agreements. The the it's I know I have the documentation. Yes, the general counsels of each and every. Oh. Uh, you see, this critical stage in the criminal proceeding where I tell the judge, yes, I did not get any personal service. There was no service by publication. My right to due process is being violated. My sons are being held hostage, and you're refusing to acknowledge the international agreements of the United States of America. Now, when you transferred me, yes, to Jefferson County, Judge Landis, this critical stage in the criminal proceeding known as the arraignment, yes, where available defenses may be irretrievably lost, if not then and there asserted. Yes. Holloway versus Arkansas? Yes, yes, yes. See, when I told Judge Landis she didn't sign it, Judge, you made me go to court for the last 18 months, and as far as I know, I'm still on the docket, but I've never communicated. Why don't you read the protection order? I was not given any notice or opportunity to be heard. The court does not have jurisdiction over the parties, minors, and subject matter. You never had jurisdiction to be able to issue it. There's forgery. There's no penalty of perjury for the petitioner, and you're obstructing my right to be able to communicate with her. Oh. In the case of joint resolution conflicting interests, so you bears repeating is also an advocate. Now, the denial of opportunity for appointed counsel to confer, to consult with the accused, yes. My appointed counsel didn't actually talk to me. I had communicated that I wanted to know what the arraignment hearing was. Yes, because it was a two-count criminal complaint. Did you get elected to office, Haas? Why don't you give me your cell phone? Um, I should have been able to talk to my public defender before being arraigned. Yes. Does anyone know where Jack Range is? The last time I talked to him was September 24th, 20 minutes before 5. Yes. Where the county clerk had made an error, as he had said, and put it on the wrong court date. I thought it was the 28th of September. I thought it was a cell hearing. I thought you were going to involuntarily admit me to a psychiatric facility so that you could involuntarily. I think you should have allowed me to speak to my counsel before the arraignment, considering you arrested me for a failure to appear. Yes. Now, it's nice that I got out of jail the same day. I didn't really want to spend a lot of time there. Yes. Now, the denial of opportunity, is a sham and nothing more than the form of compliance with the Constitution's requirement that an accused be given the assistance of counsel. How much assistance is counsel to not ask me where I was on June 16th of 2017? That you wouldn't call any witnesses on my behalf? Ooch. That you didn't represent me, that I wasn't in Brennan, Washington, and that I didn't email. Um, a constitutional violation is subject to the harmless error analysis when its scope can be readily identified as effect isolated from the remainder of the proceeding. I would say that I could isolate the arraignment with Judge Landis. Yes, because I told her to read the protection order. Petitioner didn't sign it. As much as Jack thinks that you can give a chance to a petitioner to sign an actual court order, without my knowledge of her being there, I wouldn't know how to contact her. She could be anywhere. Decided to kidnap my sons, lives anywhere she wants. Yes. And then systematic resource deprivation cannot be easily contained. The insidiousness of overburdening defense counsel is that it can result in concealing from the courts, particularly the appellate courts, the nature and extent of damage that is done to the defendants. Exactly how much damage have you done to me as a defendant? Well, we had all these mental health evaluations, right? The police department wouldn't admit that I had sent them an email on June 16th. I sent an email to 2,500 other individuals. Why the fuck is it that you've done an immense amount of damage? Challenging social institutions of the court has spawned considerable scholarly debate. Now, concerns, fundamental, systematic, resource deprivation of myself as an indigent. Now, you have deprived me as an indigent defendant, yes, and as an indigent party to each and every one of the court hearings, the actual enforcement of the laws of the United States. And then you deprive me, yes, the actual enforcement of each and every state constitution. Then you deprive me of the actual enforcement of the oaths of office that had sworn that they would support and defend the Constitution. Then you deprive me of the actual enforcement of the Constitution. And now you're depriving me of the enforcement